First up on the show, Tiger Global and Peak 15 partners back neo-banking startup Jupiter has secured a prepaid payments instrument license from the RBI, which will allow them to offer digital wallets to users that are using UPI payments, transferring funds, besides paying bills. Jitendra Gupta is the founder and the CEO of Jupiter and now joins in. Thanks so much for taking time out. So give us a sense as to what exactly it means to now have secured the prepaid payments instrument license from the RBI. What does this mean for Jupiter?
Avan, if you look at this license, nowadays this license, in my view, is like equivalent of quasi bank account because the limits of the prepaid wallets have been increased to close to 2 lakh rupees, and the wallet has been allowed to connect to UPI systems. So, which makes it very powerful from a operational standpoint, interoperability standpoint. And third, now RBI also allows the RTGS connectivity through this wallet, which means the bank transfers also can be done in a very, very seamless way to any other account. So we are very excited to get this license. We feel that the users which we were not able to onboard because of AMB issues, the minimum annual maintenance charges because of the low balance, those users will be able to onboard, provide the Jupiter services to help them transact on the UPI and the small value transactions and increase our user base accordingly. So that's why we are very, very excited about the license.
Now, you'll also be looking to introduce a prepaid account facility. What's the timeline for this?
So I think we are thinking that we should introduce this facility in next 3 to 4 months for our users. And there's another feature which we're thinking of introducing within that. So today we have a ability to the user to save for their specific goals. So the idea is that will allow users to save for the specific goals, especially for budgeting purposes, and then have the flexibility to pay through those specific buckets of pool of savings at the time of their expenses. So just to give an example, people today save for rent, people today save for food or groceries, or people save for movies, and they create what they call as pots. And the users were heavily requesting us to allow them to pay through specific pot, specific expenses, which will be able to do that through this feature. So next 3 to 4 months, you should see it being enabled for our user base and the new users who come on the Jupiter app.
And what about competition? Because there's a number of players that are cropping up. Are you worried?
Honestly, today, I would say that a lot of PPI guideline change have happened in the last 12 to 15 months. And I have not seen many new players coming in the space since then. There have been players which have been operating already, but those players mainly restricted their business activities to the offline payments or the money transfer facilities and more around the cash out into the rural villages and all of that. So Paytm had some advantage or the dominant share, I would say. Now the space kind of has got vacant in my view. So I clearly see a big opportunity from a consumer standpoint, and considering it has an interoperability around UPI payments. I personally feel that there's a space for 2 or 3 new players to operate in the PPI space. Earlier, this space was not attractive 12 months back because the interoperability was always a challenge. Now, with the interoperability coming in, this challenge has been solved by RBI.
Right, Jitendra, what is the plan now to build new cases on the app? You're currently offering digital services, UPI, financial management. What's the timeline for new use cases?
So as on date, we continue to scale on our existing offerings. So we today offer saving accounts in partnership with Federal Bank. We offer lending through our own NBFC and a few co-lending partners. Then we have a co-brand credit card issuance arrangement with the Federal Bank and the Catholic Syrian Bank. So our focus is to continue to scale those offerings on our app. In addition, we also started the mutual fund investment offering last year. Now we see more than a million plus SIPs which are going through our platform in a month. So this year our focus is very clear that we'll continue to scale these offerings, and with this new PPI license coming in, we'll roll out the offering around this and scale the initial use cases. But we don't have any specific plan to do something new offering other than the PPI one for the current financial year.
And I understand that last year the valuation stood at about $600 odd dollars. Can you tell us what the valuation stands at now?
So we raised sufficient capital when we raised money in December 2021. We are adequately capitalized as on date. Honestly speaking, we don't see the need to raise more capital. We have capital which, in my view, would help us reach break-even stage. So we are comfortable with that. I think valuations are a factor of when you raise new capital, how the investors value you, or what price point you're able to strike the deal. Considering we are not in the market to raise money, I would say that there's no question of valuation going up or down at this point in time.
And what's the outlook when it comes to your lending business?
So lending business, as I mentioned earlier as well, we have our own NBFC license, which RBI had granted us 15, 16 months back. We started lending on that. Today, our book size must be close to 250 crores. And we are doing monthly disbursements of 80 to 90 crores a month. I believe that we'll scale it in the current financial year. So we expect to close our book size around 700 to 800 crores by end of this year. So we'll continue to scale. Our main focus on the lending remains where we mainly target our existing users rather than acquiring new users for lending. And we have like more than 2 million users who use our services on a monthly basis. So we'll stick to our current user base and the new user base which is coming in. But for pure lending, we don't have any plans to target the open market sourcing.
Sure. And long term, what are the financials that you're working with? What kind of vision do you have in terms of long term growth?
So I would say that we are on a journey to become full service financial services company. And I think in the last 3 years, we have launched savings account in partnership with banks. We have launched credit cards in partnership with banks. We have launched lending and investment offering. Maybe going forward, we'll consider whether the insurance makes sense. We'll take a decision in next 6 to 12 months around that. But our idea is that how do we become the go-to financial services app for our segment of consumers, which we are catering to. So clearly, if we are able to do that, that's our win with our consumers. So from a financial standpoint, we are aiming internally to reach break-even in next 30 to 36 months. So that's the plan at which we are working towards. And as I already said that from a capital standpoint, we are sufficiently capitalized from till the time we reach break-even point. So considering the space is big, we are very excited that we'll continue to scale in this space and we become a first choice of financial services app for our segment of consumers.
All right, good to have you on board. Thanks so much for joining in.